Hey there, just checking in with you guys on a Saturday, seeing how we're doing. How's the day going? Hopefully, you guys are feeling pretty good. I am really trying to push out some good information about detoxing. What do you guys know about detoxing? You guys into detoxifying your body and such? I mean, do we even know what that means? It feels like there's a whole lot of confusion around detoxification and what we should be doing and how do we do this with our body. Who needs to detox, right? Like what person needs to be detoxing their body, and what are the symptoms of not having good detox pathways, right? I mean, it just feels like that verbiage feels really vague. And there's people that are saying, oh, I'm doing a juice cleanse or I'm doing this other detox thing. Like, what does that mean? I've always felt like detoxing is really squishy and there's a lot of hype around it. But I think there's a lot of people that don't understand, like, what exactly are we talking about? What should we be doing? What's safe for us to be doing? I mean, I work with a lot of patients that have autoimmunity, but I also work with people that have brain injuries. So I have people that are just coming in that are just exhausted or not feeling good. So one of the things I just made a longer YouTube video on this. If you want to follow me on Dr. Darla Booth, um, and I'm going to just talk a little bit more about detoxing. So it's an interesting thing. So let's say you're walking in a candle store that has a lot of perfumey candles, or you're in a hardware store where you have a lot of chemicals, pesticides, things like that are in there. How do you feel? Like, does that make you feel like you have a headache? Does it make you feel brain foggy, or do you get a migraine, or do you feel nauseous? So that's a really good indication that your detox pathways are not working as well as efficiently as they should, right? I mean, every day we get exposed to chemicals and toxins and pesticides and all that kind of stuff. And it's our body's job to say, okay, this is foreign. I'm going to get rid of it. This is for me. We're going to use this as fuel. And this is really beneficial. Or I'm going to just dump this off. This doesn't seem to be healthy for me. So, how well is our body being able to understand what is a toxin and how do we get rid of it and what do we do about it? So I get patients that come in that say, oh my gosh, I go into Ace Hardware and I just get the biggest migraine. And I'm like, okay, we need to work on your detox pathways. So that's where we're going to start today. I just want to do a real quick intro on that. If you want to follow me on YouTube, I have my longer talk on this. But I want you guys to think about, first of all, if you are saying, I want to detoxify, this is for me. I feel like I really am toxic. Or maybe you've just had a lot of bad exposures to maybe some mold or some chemicals, or you haven't been eating well and you really want to get cleaned up, right? So, number one, I really want you to think about what's happening with your intestines. Are you taking out the trash every day? Are your intestines moving? Because whatever we do, if we start dumping toxins out of your liver and dumping it into your intestines and your intestines aren't moving, you're going to reabsorb all those toxins. Yes, someone says they get a headache. Yeah. Hey, Shy, I'm glad you're here. Um, so it's just one of those things I want you to think about, because if you kind of jump on a bandwagon and say, I'm going to take a bunch of glutathione, I'm going to take some methylated bees, I'm going to take all this liver sauce, and I'm going to detoxify my liver, and your intestines are not moving, you're going to dump out some toxins and then you're going to reabsorb them and you're going to feel like garbage. Okay. So I want you to think about, first of all, what are we doing with our intestines? Are we eating enough fiber? Are we having enough vegetables that live above the ground, vegetables, not root vegetables, because those aren't as helpful with our intestines. I want you to think about chia seeds and flax seeds and psyllium. And I want you to think about binders or things that keep your intestines moving. Some of my patients need to do some magnesium oxide or some magnesium citrate to keep your intestines moving. So that's number one, get your intestines moving. Number two, I want you to get hydrated. I want you to drink half of your ounces of your body weight in water a day. And if it's warm water with lemon, you get extra points. So if you do that, now all of a sudden you have hydration happening, you have your intestines moving. Okay, great. Now we're going to add another layer. Okay. I want you to think about, if you decide to kind of do some detoxing, a couple different pathways I want you to try. One is just a methylated B vitamin. Okay. Now I know there's some people that don't respond well to methylation. Get it. But these are the people that do. Methylated B, methylcobalamin, methylfolate, all those that say methyl to your B vitamin, That helps. That's a detox pathway through your liver. And then the second pathway is the glutathione pathway. And those of you who have been on my live before, I'm in love with glutathione, right? It's an antioxidant in your body, and it also is a detox pathway through your liver. So if you take some glutathione, this is when the people I've sent links for glutathione, I want you to think about going slow because you've got your detoxing stuff, right? Take it slow. And that's going to be something you're going to be detoxing, and then your intestines are taking the trash out, and then your kidneys are pushing out toxins through the bladder, and then you're going to walk, right? I want you to walk and move your body. If you can do lymphatic massage, amazing. You're like moving your lymph. You can use a brush. We can move your lymph. We can get it moving. We can get your body hot. We can do a sauna. We can detox that way. That's amazing. We love sauna. Now, if you don't have a sauna, I just want you to get hot. You can get hot with exercising. You can get hot in a hot bath. You can get in a steam shower. Like, doesn't matter. Like, let's just get you hot and sweating. You're sweating, you're detoxing. Okay. So, and then I want you to make sure you're hydrated again and do your electrolytes. Okay. So that's something I want you to think about, especially if you have a symptom where you're like, I can't handle smells or chemicals or toxins or anything. And not that they're good for us. They're not good for us, but I want you to be able to get a little bit more resilient on processing stuff, because if you're not processing that, what else are you not processing, right? Are you processing your hormones properly? Are you detoxifying? Do you have fatty liver? Is that congesting you? Like, there's lots of things for us to fix, but I just wanted to address that detox thing because I just made a YouTube video on it. So now I'm hot and heavy about it. Made a little TikTok about it. So let me take a look at your questions, because I know people are having some questions. So, just Christy, I can't get my ANA better. Will it ever? It's still 1 in 320. Christy, here's the thing. Remember, when you have autoimmunity, your autoimmunity turns on and you have the volume knob control. Okay. So you can do all the things and you might find that you stay stuck at 1 in 320. There's no for sure guarantee that we're going to get this to go to 1 in 80 or negative. We don't know for sure. The best we can do is say, what are the things that we can do, right? Vitamin D, getting off your food triggers, making sure you're sleeping, do some detox pathway work. Make sure you're not getting exposed to a lot of chemicals in your foods and in your products that you put on your face, in your skin, in your hair. And then, we just need to kind of like do a big assessment. When you get sick, your ANA number might come up. When you get well, it might come down a little bit. But we want to also watch your symptoms, right? If you have 1 in 320 and you have no symptoms, I'm going, okay, we can work with this. If you have a boatload of symptoms, you have a lot of inflammation, there's other things that we haven't addressed that we need to handle. Okay. So it's not just the number, but we do need to kind of think about it as a big picture. Yeah, detoxing and getting a headache, it is the worst. I'm so happy you guys popped on. I'm not feeling like myself for months. TSH free, T3 and T4 all normal. TPO went from 1 to 10 in 3 months. And thyroglobulin was 9. Is this indicative of Hashimoto's coming? It's hard to say. Those numbers are negative, but they're kind of like a little high, normal. If you're not feeling good and your thyroid looks pretty normal and your thyroid hormones are look normal and it doesn't show Hashimoto's, we might be going down the wrong rabbit hole. We might want to go, okay, how's my blood sugar? Should I get a blood sugar monitor on the back of my arm, like a Lingo or a Stello, to say, is my blood sugar spiking and crashing? That can make you feel really bad. What about other markers in your blood work? Do you have inflammation that's high? What's your vitamin D? Remember, I want your vitamin D to be higher, like 70, 80, 90. I don't want it to be below 60. Okay. That's something that's important. So let's start pushing around in some other areas. Are you sleeping well? Do you have a lot of toxic exposure? How are your detox pathways? Are you pooping? All the things. Hi, Kirsty. I'm so glad that you always seem to pop on when I'm on. I'm so stoked about that. Yeah, you can always message me with some questions. If you want me to look at lab work, I usually have people that make a 30-minute appointment and they can send me their labs and I'll spend some time looking at them and we can talk about them. If you look at my link tree, you can just click on there and it says work with Darla. You can schedule even a little 30-minute consultation, which is fine. And remember, I have my autoimmune shift program going on, which is lots of videos to tell you all about autoimmunity, how to calm it down. There's lots of resources and there's an autoimmune support group on Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is $50 a month. I just want everybody to join. Join in. You can talk to me on Zoom. We have a little group. Super fun. We have about 6 people in the group so far. It's brand new. So if you want to be a founding member, I usually had it at $179 and then I'm like, just do $50 a month. let's just get a bunch of people being able to access it, because I want there not to be a financial problem with you guys accessing functional medicine, autoimmune support. I feel like that if you can't afford an expensive functional medicine practitioner, here I am. Hop on, jump in our group. There's everybody there has autoimmunity. We all have questions. We all have answers. There's some of us have been with me for over a year. So there's a lot of like experienced people in there too that want to be mentors. It's super fun. So if you want to join up and you need some support, please do. Okay, both of my parents have lupus, and me and my siblings all have traits. Okay. Yeah, we got to get on top of this because you've got a double markers coming at you. So have you gotten tested? You want to do an ANA cascade that gives you all the different specific markers, but also you can also run an ENA panel. Those are really specific for lupus. So we want to make sure that just check out where you are. I tell you, I don't even know you, but I'm 95% sure that you probably have sensitivity to gluten and dairy. It's just something that goes along with autoimmunity. I'd say, can you peel those off? Does that make you feel better? Can you get on 5,000 IUs of vitamin D? Can you get on a little bit of glutathione every day? These are all immune system modulators. It helps to calm your immune system down. Can you get on an autoimmune paleo diet, or can you make sure you're eating meats and veggies and not eating junk food? Okay. Oh, thank you, Christy. I'm so glad. Yeah. I mean, I'm so happy that you're here. It's like so nice to be able to help just talk to people and get some messages out, right? Okay. Is clinodactyly something you know about? If not, it's okay. Clinodactyly, isn't that funny? I mean, people pop stuff in, I don't even know. I mean, dactyly is your fingers. Clinodactyly, I don't know. Let's take a look. What even is that? There's lots of different kinds of autoimmune conditions and conditions that I'm not even aware of. So I try to just break it down and help you make some sense of all these things. So I don't know, chat is kind of trying to look at it and trying to figure it out. Jackie, I do work one-on-one with patients. I have a practice in Los Gatos, California, but not a lot of, I do about 50% in person, about 50% Zoom. And people just send me their blood work markers, and I just look at them, and we just make strategies, and I look at their symptoms, and we try to figure out what's going on, right? Oh, clinodactyly is a sideways curvature of the finger. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So an abnormally shaped like middle finger, or it is not really inflammation or trauma or autoimmunity. It's kind of just runs in families. Is that run in your family? It might be something that you just genetically got, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to develop anything in particular about that. So yeah, I mean, it's just lots of things to understand about the body, right? No question is off limits here. So ER doctor, ER neuro suspect MS, family doctor suspects MS, CT was brain atrophy disproportionate to age. Okay, so you need to think about we need to think about what's happening with your brain. We need to think, I do a lot of functional medicine with the brain. I work a lot with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and cognitive decline. So it's not my specialty, but it's kind of a niche that I love. So I want you to think about, how are we nourishing your brain? How are we feeding your brain? Now, your brain can burn two different things, glucose or ketones. Now, ketones are burning fat as fuel. I would put you on a ketogenic diet. And I would put you right on a ketogenic diet and get you off of carbs and sugars and have your brain learn to burn fat for fuel. It's an anti-inflammatory diet. It's amazing for your brain, and it helps any kind of brain condition turn around, whether it's Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or a concussion, brain injury, you've got brain atrophy. Doesn't matter what it is. I actually would do that. High level DHA fish oils. I would put you on 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. Yeah. I would do all those things. I don't know what they made that comment really light. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they thought that was kind of a funky comment. I don't know. My grandma had it and it got passed down. So I don't know if it's considered. So yeah, Livy, this is the clinodactyly. That's just something that, yeah, it goes along with your family. If you have kids, they might have it too. Okay. Hanny has MS. And Gwen is here. Hey, Gwen. And Hanny, hold on, I'm going to answer you in a second. So Gwen the founder for Empowerment in Illness, EIL, and she goes by Lupus Chick. You can follow her on TikTok. She's awesome. She has a lot of resources. So she works with me and my group. We brainstorm stuff trying to figure out how to help patients. So follow Gwen. Gwen's here. She's the best. Hanny has MS. Oh, the daily fatigue is absolutely debilitating. Okay. So I want you to think, Hanny, I want you to think about, this is autoimmune. Okay. So we're going to do a big picture right now. What are the foods that you're eating? I would start with eating autoimmune paleo, but there's a nuance there. Okay, so there's a study done with MS that was finding that there's particular foods that trigger MS, that trigger foods that look similar to the myelin sheath in our body around the nerve, that the immune system is attacking that, but what foods can drive that? Spinach is one of them. How come I always forget, Gwen? Corn is one of them. Hold on, let me relook it. It's an immunologist from LA called Dr. Vijjani, Dr. Vjodani, and then MS Foods trigger. It's soy and corn and spinach. I would get completely off of them. Those are big triggers, and this immunologist is figuring out some really interesting stuff. His last name is Aristo Vijjani, Vojdani. There's foods that look like myelin proteins around the nerves, right? So this reaction kind of like it attacks the food, your immune system attacks the food, and then it attacks the myelin, and it can drive this. Okay, gluten is number one. Of course, gluten is number one. Dairy is number two. But then you kind of move into other things. Egg can do this. Soy can do this. Corn, and spinach. Yes. So I would think about, Hanny, I would think about maybe splurging on a food intolerance test for you through a company called Cyrex, who Risto Vijjani is on the panel for them. And we would test you for what food triggers are triggering you, right? Like, are there food triggers that you don't know about? Because it can drive your immune system high and it can drive the attack of the MS. So that's a big deal. Food is a big deal for you. Now, also, I would get you on 5,000. I use vitamin D every day. I would get you on some glutathione. Glutathione, I'm a broken record. I love glutathione. It's an immune system modulator. It's very, very helpful for calming down the immune system. Eat protein at every meal. Get a Lingo or a Stelo blood sugar monitor to make sure that your blood sugar is steady. Okay. MRI normal, no, just brain, no contrast. So TK, yes, I would get yourself on a ketogenic diet for your brain. Anytime you have a brain issue, ketogenic diet, hands down, really, really helpful. Okay, Natalie said, I took my first progesterone pill yesterday because I got my first period a year ago and none since. Okay, yeah, progesterone pills, it's super helpful. Bioidentical hormones, love them. If you can do them, if you haven't had like a breast cancer that's hormone sensitive, super important to know that. But if you can and you are of age and you're really wanting to do some hormone replacement, I love myself an estrogen patch. Estrogen patches are better than oral estrogen. Remember, when you take oral estrogen, it can cause blood clots. So it's not for everybody, but it can. You know, that's one of the risk factors. So you want to be doing an estrogen patch, and you want to do oral progesterone. It can help you sleep. It can help you to have less anxiety. Progesterone is really important in the brain for managing anxiety. Neuroinflammation. So let me tell you about neuroinflammation. So neuro just means the brain or the nerves, and inflammation, right? So you can have inflammation in the brain from getting your head hit, having an inflammatory diet. COVID caused brain inflammation. You can have, lots of different things can cause brain inflammation. So the most important thing, if you are having brain inflammation or you can't think and you just feel like you have issues with your brain, whether it's Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, any kind of cognitive decline, I put people on a ketogenic diet just to kind of get off carbs, get off their sugars, get their blood sugar super, super steady, let their brain use ketones as fuel and see how they feel. It can be magical. It can be life-changing. So that's really helpful. I had antiphospholipid antibody syndrome while pregnant, but not now. Okay. So This is an autoimmune situation where you get more clotting, okay? You're going to notice it when you get pregnant. You can have miscarriages. It can cause clotting. So this is called anticardiolipin antibodies. So it just means that you have an autoimmune situation happening. So your immune system, from genetics probably, is overacting. And that's part of just something you have to manage. I would get off of gluten and dairy. You might want to think about go on an autoimmune paleo diet for a little while just to see how you feel. If you feel pretty good, so it's like this is a elimination provocation diet. You eliminate a bunch of foods and then you slowly pull them in one at a time. See how your body feels. Okay. So that's super helpful. You could do something like that. If you want some support in my autoimmune support group, we're doing all this together. There's resources, there's videos, there's learning tools. Come on over. It's in my link tree. It's called the Autoimmune Shift, trying to get people to shift their habits every day just a little bit to calm their autoimmunity down. That's the goal. Okay. Okay, and somebody's Autumn Sunshine says my ANA was 1 in 640, but pattern was multiple nuclear dots. Okay, by itself. ANA, multiple nuclear dots. Okay, here's why we want to look this up, because every time you have a different, let's say you were like homogeneous and multiple nuclear dot, it would mean something. If you were speckled and nuclear dot, it would be something else. And it's like, it's the Wild West out here, man. There's so many autoimmune markers. It's crazy. So we want to think about things we want to think about first. How is your liver doing and your gallbladder doing? So multiple nuclear dots, the strongest association was with something called primary biliary cholangitis, which means that it's like there's your liver, right? And then your bile duct and then your gallbladder. It's that like bile duct area that you can have autoimmunity toward that spot. And it can be really inflamed. You might not digest fats well. Your liver might be a little inflamed. These are things to kind of like be aware of. Liver enzyme numbers on your lab work can be high, ALT, AST, stuff like that. So now there's an autoimmune hepatitis overlap. So again, liver, gallbladder. Now less common, but like possible. It could be lupus. You would want to do an ENA panel, which is ENA is more lupus specific for anti-Smith, anti-dsDNA. These are a little bit more specific toward lupus. Sjogren's, which is like dry mouth, dry eyes, fatigue, dry joints, kind of not fun. There's some overlapping connective tissue things like mixed connective tissue. So we don't know for sure with 1 in 640 multiple nuclear dots. It depends kind of on symptoms. This is kind of like an overhead projector where we have like one and then another lane over it and then another lane over it to try to figure out what it is. It's really symptoms, ESR, CRP, looking at your ANA, figuring out all these things and trying to come up with a diagnosis. Okay. That's how the rheumatologists do it as well. So we can do it too. Potatoes and peppers. Thank you. Yes, Gwen. So we have, when you are on, let's say you're on an autoimmune paleo diet, what we would want to do is we would be going very, very simple. Meats and vegetables only. Now, what you would take out nightshades, potatoes, peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, out. All the grains, out. Gluten, rice, millet, corn, all of them out. This is not forever. This is just to figure out what's up. Dairy, all the dairy, even the sheep and the goat and the cow, all the dairy. What else? Nuts and seeds are out for a minute, and also peas or lectins or lentils. Okay. It's pretty much just like veggies and meats for a couple weeks. And then you want to think about, okay, I'm going to put nightshades back in. I'm going to put tomatoes in, see how I feel. Right? Does it flare up your joints? Does it make you have brain fog? Does it give you a rash? You want to put peppers in, you want to put potatoes in, you want to put, then this is like putting foods back in, right? So, but you want to think about if you are into a free test that you can do on your own, it's called the Autoimmune Paleo. If you want a list of that, it's in my Autoimmune Shift group. It's in the resources. There's recipes. There's all sorts of stuff in there. So, Andrea, you have Hashimoto's and lupus. Okay, very common to have 2 different autoimmune conditions, right? Just like you can have 2 different autoimmune ANA markers. So if your immune system is attacking the joints and the connective tissue with lupus, it can turn and attack your thyroid pretty easily. You live under an umbrella of autoimmunity, so it's easy to kind of shift and change. So we want to think about big picture, Andrea. We want to think about, what are your food triggers? How is your blood sugar? We want it to be steady. Are you sleeping? How's your stress level? How's your vitamin D? What about glutathione? What about the toxins and chemicals that you're exposed to every day? I mean, like, this is why I made a whole program so people can get bigger picture about, like, it's all of the things, right? It's not just one thing, it's all the things. And we have to figure out what your triggers are, because it's kind of like your fingerprint. It's going to be specialized to you, right? You might be sensitive to tapioca starch and gluten and dairy and nightshades. I don't know, right? That's kind of common with Hashimoto's too. So reach out if you need some help. This is why I'm making programs for people to, like, be able to figure out, right? 2 times positive dsDNA. Okay, so we've got some possibility for lupus. I think if you put anti-Smith in there and that was positive, I'd be like, yeah, bingo. So these are all kind of telling me, pay attention. You got something brewing. We've got something loading. Now, oftentimes you'll get positive antibodies 5 or 10 years before you actually get a full-blown disease. And people are looking for a diagnosis. Diagnosis might not come until you get a full-blown disease. So maybe we don't want to wait to that point. Maybe we want to understand what to do in this window of time to back it out and calm it down. Okay. That's our goal. That's why I'm creating a whole platform just for you guys to kind of understand what to do. Because, by the way, your rheumatologist doesn't have time for this, A. B, they don't really know the functional medicine strategies to put in this. So you can do your traditional medicine, and we also braid in functional medicine to try to make it more effective. Okay. So with lupus, can you get PRP for hair? Sure. Yeah, you can do PRP for hair. PRP is not, and PRP is coming from your own platelets, right? You pull out your blood and they spin off the platelets and they can do PRP, or there might be another way of them doing PRP, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, so yes, so autumn sunshine, it feels like you're kind of in the middle of, like, brewing something, but you're not at your destination. So maybe we back this up and try to start doing some calming down strategies to try to get this to chill out. So, because we don't want to be a speeding freight train toward these conditions. And if you're already at the condition, what are we going to do about it? How do we calm inflammation? How do we calm your immune system down? What are your food triggers? Is blood sugar triggering you? Probably. Blood sugar high, blood sugar low, very triggery for autoimmunity to, like, flare when you have too much fuel and not enough fuel. Okay. Diagnosed at Brandy has diagnosed at 16, now 48 with lupus, DEGOS, had to figure out all this out myself, had to teach my doctor, right, Brandy? This is what's frustrating, is that I feel like that when you got diagnosed, it was like, what even is gluten? Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, crazy. But now we know more, right? So a lot of us that understand autoimmunity are trying to figure out, like, I want to give all of you a roadmap on how you figure this out and how do you get support so that you can know that you're doing what's best for yourself. Because you got to put your oxygen mask on first, because your doctor's not going to do that for you. A, they don't have the time. B, they don't have this kind of integrative training. And C, a lot of them, you can't even afford to work with them. It's just insane. So I'm trying to make a really inexpensive platform for everybody so nobody gets left out. I love coffee with milk. What milk can I use? Okay, so I would try coconut milk, great milk. If you can do oats, you can do oat milk. In the beginning, I would probably do coconut. Coconut's probably your safest bet. If you want to do any of your nut milks would work. If depends on where you live and what you can get. Sometimes they have those little nut milks that are kind of around the coffee creamer. It depends on what you react to. So if you did just a little bit of, if you don't react to almonds, you could do almond milk. I feel like that's a little bit thin. I really like the coconut milk a little bit better. And it's not the sweet coconut milk. It's actually just, it's kind of thick. It's got a thicker consistency to it. And I like it. It tastes a little bit better. How to treat EBV and HSV6. It's causing Hashimoto's. Yes. Okay. So EBV, it's so interesting, right? That is mono. So remember, we all got mono when we were teenagers. It's the kissing disease. We got, that happened. And then that virus is staying in our body. The HSV6 stays in our body. All these viruses stay in our body. And then when we are run down. They can reactivate, right? So we want to think about, if you feel like those are reactivated for you right now, I want you to think about some antiviral strategies. First of all, making sure you're sleeping. Second of all, get your vitamin D up to 70, 80, 90. You could do a vitamin A as well. And this kind of really is depending on what your symptoms are, right? Is it in your are you feeling it in your sinuses? Are you feeling it in a nerve? Are you feeling it like, do you get bloated? Do you have gut issues? Do you have leaky gut? We kind of want to like, it's hard to say for sure, but I want to like figure out what you have so I can feel like, how do we calm you down, right? Sometimes if the mucous membranes are real sensitive, like your sinuses, your nose and your throat are just real, you like breathe in someone who has COVID and you get COVID, you can take vitamin A and that'll thicken up the sinus walls, the surface membranes of your throat, your nose, and your lungs. That's super helpful. You could do an A and a D together. Super helpful. Also, there's a really great supplement that's called, what is it called? Andrographis. Andrographis, Andrographis. It's really antiviral. We used it a lot during COVID when people had really extreme COVID reactions. That might really be helpful. But with EBV, when we're dealing with viruses, we want to look at a big picture blood work, right? We want to look at all your blood work and say, okay, you're a little pre-diabetic, your inflammation is high, your vitamin D is low. Like, we got to go and figure out what you have, right? If your blood sugar is running high, it's going to run your immune system down. Okay. If you have SIBO or overgrowth of bad bacteria, we got to handle that. We got to kill those guys, so we got to figure out where the drain is so we can plug the drain. I hope that helps. What else? What else? Sorry, I just lost it. There we go. Okay. Are you familiar with the GFAP protein? Smoldering inflammation. Mine was at the 90th percentile. I am not. I'm going to look it up for you. GFAP protein. I tell you, after all this, I feel like I'm trying to turn into an immunologist. Like, we need to know all this stuff, right? We've got to know. I've got to know all this stuff so I can help guide you guys. So at least I can interpret this and tell you what I think it is. Okay. Glial fibrillary acidic protein. Okay, it's a protein inside the brain. Hold on, I got to read my little thing here. Where is it? It's okay. So I wonder if you have. Do you have brain fog? Do you have brain issues? Are you feeling like you've got neuro stuff going on? Do you have nerve pain? Do you have anything that's going on with your brain? Do you feel? I mean, it tells you where some. It's in the brain. It's like the glial cells. It's like the scaffolding in the brain, the glial cells, right? It's in there. So if you get your head hit, you're going to have glial priming or glial inflammation, right? So I wonder what's going on with that. It could be neuroinflammation. I would think about anytime there's a brain thing. We'll go back to this. I'd put you on a ketogenic diet for a minute and see how it makes you feel. Get your brain burning ketones for fuel. Ketones are an anti-inflammatory fuel. You can use ketones, your brain can use ketones or glucose. And we tend to use glucose because we eat carbs and whatnot. But what if we just gave your brain ketones? It would be an anti-inflammatory process for the brain. I would put you on DHA fish oils with EPA fish oils. I would put you on fish oils like it was your job. Like, I'd be like, let's do fish oils, let's do ketosis, let's do vitamin D. I would think about putting you on a really specific supplement called NeuroFlam, FLAM, NeuroFlam, by a company called Apex Energetics. There's all these flavonoids, like, when the bioflavonoids that come with vitamin C, those flavonoids, they can cross the blood-brain barrier and they decrease inflammation. So that's something that we use during COVID. With the COVID headache, we put people on NeuroFlam. It really calmed down the brain. So we could put you on ketosis. We would do vitamin D. We could do fish oils. We could do NeuroFlam. That's what I would do with you. Reach out if you want some help, because I can send you any kind of supplements through FullScript. Doesn't matter where you are. It's just an umbrella under my account of supplements. So it's like a professional grade supplement so that you're not just buying whatever off of Amazon and spending too much money there. We never know what we're getting, right? Brandy, good job. Yeah, you have to listen to your body and you have to know how to work your way through this because the doctors don't always help, right? Nana, is Graves' disease reversible? Okay. I'm on 5 milligrams a day. of methimazole. How do you say that? Methimazole. So what Graves is, it's an autoimmune attack of the thyroid that causes the thyroid to overproduce thyroid hormone, right? So whereas Hashimoto's is a destruction and then you get hypothyroid, Graves, you get hyperthyroid, and it can make your eyes bug out. It can make you anxious. It can make your heart race. So what we want to do is our goal is not to kind of go, I want to take you off your medication, because that medication is making sure your heart rate is calm and making sure that your thyroid's not going to race and make you have a heart attack. So that's important to stay on your medication. But also we want to think about, what are your food triggers? What happened right before you had your Graves attack? Did you get COVID? Did you get the flu? Did you have a baby? What was your trigger? Like, did something trigger you? Did you have a really stressful event? That always gives us a clue as to what we're going to do next. Okay. So things to think about. If you want to join in my program, I can put you through all this information, and you just meet with me once a week in a group, and we do Q&A and we do sorting and sifting, and there's lots of resources for you to pull off to say, these are labs you need to get. If this is what they mean, this is a AIP diet. Here's how you get into ketogenic diet. There's all those resources are in there, and supplement links, if you need them, are all in there, and you get 20% off. Honey, I would love for you to join my program. Hop on over. It's a new program. We just started on Friday. So I've got like 6 people in there right now. Super fun. I just love working with you guys and being able to like see your faces and be able to actually talk to you, because it's on Zoom and then I don't just have to answer questions. No, pop on over. It's great. Brandy, lots of suffering, research, trial and error. Absolutely. My gosh, it's a lot, right? Okay. Christy is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 34 after taking Marjara for 5 weeks. Wow. That is so interesting. Never had sugar problems before taking Marjara. That's really interesting. That's a big trigger for you. Wow. I wonder what happened there. I don't even understand the mechanism that happened there, but something happened. Okay. So you have full-blown type 1 diabetes now, have to do insulin shots. Okay. So type 1 diabetes, usually people have a big dairy reaction with type 1 diabetes and or gluten. I would be happy to help you run some tests to figure out some food triggers if you want to figure that out. But I'm just like thinking about what happened. I can't figure out what happened there. I wonder what happened. That's really curious. I'm going to be like brewing on that for a little while. I wonder if you also are feeling anxious. Oftentimes when you get type 1 diabetes, you have these GAD65 antibodies, which, okay, let me tell you about that. I'm trying not to get too crazy weird about I just want to make it easy for everybody to understand. So you have this neurotransmitter in your brain called GABA. You want to be able to eat protein and have B vitamins and have iron, and you want to be able to make GABA. It makes you feel calm, makes you feel happy, really good. Now, GAD65 antibodies that go along with type 1 diabetes block that. So now you're not making GABA very well. And now you're feeling more anxious. And now you're like, what the heck? Why am I feeling so anxious? So that's something that we want to think about. Oftentimes with type 1 diabetes, I want to give you GABA. I want to give you calming neurotransmitter support, because sometimes that can go along with it. Sometimes people can feel a little bit dizzy or spinny when they have type 1 diabetes, because there's some brain effects too. Let me know if you want some support. I'm happy to help you with that. You can always send me a message or something. Okay. Recently diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis. That's AS. So ankylosing spondylitis, they call it a seronegative autoimmune disease. So you're not ANA positive. It's seronegative, SERO. And it just means that it's kind of like you're getting diagnosed just with symptoms, right? Usually it's like SI joint pain, like kind of by your sacrum, by the dimples, that really hurts. And you can get a lot of like fusion of your joints and such. Are you on Humira to try to calm that down? I'm sure you're on probably something. I would add vitamin D. I would get off gluten and dairy and see if it makes you feel better. I would put you on some fish oils. I would maybe put you on turmeric or resveratrol to calm down your inflammation. Lots of things. I'd put you on glutathione because, it's my favorite thing. Okay. ANA positive 1 in 1280, nuclear homogeneous pattern, anti-chromatin antibody 1.0 positive. So we've got nuclear homogeneous, we've got anti-chromatin antibodies. Nuclear homogeneous often can go toward lupus. Anti-chromatin on top of that. Let me see if chat's going to give me information, because I have to look up these things as they are combined. I know what they are when they're separate, but when they're together, okay, so DNA, chromatin is the DNA wrapped around histone proteins. So anti-chromatin, oh, interesting. Okay, so it can be, yeah, early or evolving lupus, possibly, or and undifferentiated connective tissue disease with like lupus-leaning features. So I get that. So you're probably are you dealing with some joint pain? Are you dsDNA negative, antihistone negative? Those are, I bet you have some joint pain. I'll bet you need to be off of probably at least gluten and dairy. The top 5 foods that people with autoimmunity react to are gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and egg. So those are like things, maybe you just peel off of those for a minute and then put them in one at a time. I would probably get you off of gluten and dairy for sure. Those are kind of tough ones to always take. So I would love for you to be on vitamin D, 5,000 IUs a day. I would love for you to be on glutathione to help calm your immune system down. If you have joint pain, I would even think about trying some black seed oil. Try it, black cumin seed oil. It's as strong as turmeric is for an anti-inflammatory. Now, I have a few patients that don't respond well to black seed oil, but there's some that are like, oh my God, that was magic for me. So it's kind of this, it's hard with everybody, just depending on, there's no recipe for one person. This is why I made a whole program, because I want you to learn as you go and try to understand what your triggers are and get some support and help you figure it out. It's kind of like choose your own adventure, right? It's wild. EBV has ruined my life. Okay, has gone neurological on you. Got it. So we want to think about antivirals. Okay, so I want you to think about EBV is a virus. It's mono. Your body might be having a hard time putting that into dormancy. It's hard to get it to go into dormancy. So something basic I would take a supplement called lauracine. It's lysine and monolaurin. It's called lauracine, Lauri, lauracine. And it's helpful for just putting herpes viruses, because this is a herpes virus, into dormancy. So that's helpful. I would be very careful about your blood sugar. Don't get your blood sugar high. Keep it pretty steady with proteins and veggies and fats and nuts and seeds and whatever you can tolerate, but keep your blood sugar steady. I would make sure you're sleeping like it's your job. I would do vitamin D to make sure you get your vitamin D up to like 80 or 90. Just those might help to get that back into dormancy. But if it gets neurological, we want to think about doing things for nerve pain. Is it nerve pain? Is it neurological brain fog? You could do some neuroflam. You could do all sorts of little bits. I'm happy to help you if you want some help. That's really, I wonder if you have some autoimmune markers too. Tay is doing IVIG. Is there any healing from that? So IVIG is IV immunoglobulins. Sometimes it helps autoimmunity. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes you have to add vitamin D and glutathione, and you need to look at some food triggers, and you need to get yourself sleeping, and we need to get you on maybe some glutathione to see if we can get you to feel better. There's a lot of pieces. That's why there's a lot of pieces I'm throwing out. This is why I just wanted so badly to just kind of make a little program for you guys to kind of move through and understand what it is you have, because it's almost like I want you to have this little college course so you understand how to do this better, because it's not like it's the IVIG is not going to do it, but it can be an immune system modulator. So if it doesn't work, okay, we have to move on to something else, right? Sometimes low dose naltrexone can help. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes glutathione is really helpful. Most of the time people can tolerate that. So you can try something like that. Will GLPs one day be used to treat autoimmune diseases, in your opinion? It's really interesting. Whoever was just popping on saying that Mounjaro triggered their type 1 diabetes, that's really curious to me. I feel like the GLP-1s have been beneficial overall. They lower the inflammatory cytokines, which cytokines are just inflammation. They lower the cytokines. So that's really cool and amazing. If people have extra belly fat that's creating more inflammation, it helps people to kind of lose that. It can be a tool, but we have to be careful. We have to make sure we're eating lots of protein during the day. We have to make sure we're doing our weights. We can't lose muscle while we're doing GLP-1s and losing fat, right? Because you'll lose fat, but you'll lose muscle, and you even lose bone density too. So we have to be cautious about GLP-1s, but also, I mean, what a person in my Tuesday group, she just had the worst hands and they were just super swollen. And I was throwing everything at her, trying to get off food triggers. We couldn't figure it out. She got on GLP-1 and it stopped her symptoms. It was like, what? So I'm not ignoring them, but I think that it's early days. And I think we need to figure out what we're doing with this and how to use it, right? Hanny, I have a MS, lots of issues. Yeah, lots of issues going on. I also have, Hanny, I also have a nutritionist in my office who has MS, who can also support you if we want specific food support too. She also does blood sugar monitoring programs too. So there's lots of people that like literally work in my office that are spectacular, that are super helpful. So if you want some support on that, or you can, hop into my program, I can help you from there. Lots of resources I can do. How do I feel about taking vitamin K? Yeah, vitamin K is great. So the fat soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K. They're all fat soluble, right? So I often will put patients on a vitamin D Supreme, which has a D3 and K2 in it. It helps your D to bind up with the calcium that's in your diet and put it inside your bone. K is kind of directive to put the calcium inside your bones. So that's really helpful. Okay. Uva 1 is a good take for scleroderma skin. Oh, that's good. Erica, you had a baby. That's such a trigger. So here's what you need to think about, Erica, is that your hormones went up and then they crashed down, right? Estrogen was high. And when you lose your estrogen, it can drive an autoimmune response. So you might want to think about, you'll probably, when you get into sort of perimenopause, even early perimenopause, you might want to do a little bit of hormone replacement because that might help you. You might even find that if you did a little progesterone earlier, that might be helpful. Hormones might be a big trigger for you, or it might have just like turned it on, right? My sister has lupus. Only symptoms are showing losing weight and hair loss. What do you recommend? Okay, so lupus is a big topic, right? We want to think about what are all the things we're going to do. We want to balance the blood sugar. We got to keep your blood sugar super steady. You can't have prediabetes. It'll drive it because it drives inflammation. We want to think about vitamin D, 5,000 I use every day. Okay. I want you to think about getting off of gluten and dairy at least. And that's going to be really important. You could get tested for other food triggers, but those are ones I would just get off of and see how it makes you feel. Lots of strategies. If you want to join my autoimmune shift program, come on over. It's $50 a month. I tell you, we have so many resources and support and figuring things out, right? It can help you figure out where you're going, right? But that's a place to go. What is a certified functional medicine clinician? So it's somebody who's gone through functional medicine training. I have done 1,200 hours of functional medicine training. So I specialize, but I am really specialized in autoimmunity because I have autoimmune markers. My daughter has autoimmune markers. So I've created a program for her to try to keep her immune system at bay and calm. And it's working. So I'm like, we got to put this out. We have to put this structured plan together for people to try to understand the levers that you have to pull to try to calm this down. I practice in Los Gatos, California, which is like by San Jose. You had GAD 65 positive, Christy. Okay, so you might need to do some like GABA, supplements of GABA, chewable GABA, some kind of GABA. If you want to any support, I'm happy to send you a link. Okay, that would be helpful. Because I just want to make you feel like you're not anxious. Can you help with PCOS? Sure. PCOS, I want you to get a blood sugar monitor, a Lingo or a Stello. Those are $50 for 2 weeks. Each one is $50. It lasts for 2 weeks. It connects to an app on your phone. You're watching to see if your blood sugar is steady, if it's spiking, if it's crashing. I have an amazing nutritionist named Lisa Cross. Her website is crossandwellness.com. She's amazing. She figures out how to get PCOS to go away, lower your insulin, lower your blood sugar, lower your inflammation. She's incredible and it's awesome. So if you want go, if you want to message me, like a DM me on TikTok, I can give you her contact information. She's not expensive. She does Zoom. She's amazing. She can help you figure out how to get rid of PCOS because you can get rid of it for sure. Yes, negative for all their tests. Okay. Have you heard of pelvic congestion syndrome? It's like varicose veins in the pelvis. Sure. Yeah. I have a great pelvic floor person that's down the street from me that she works a lot with that, just trying to maybe shift the uterus, shift the bladder, trying to get more blood flow in there. I don't know if you have a person around you that can do pelvic floor work. Kim is ANA positive, 1 in 80. And hold on, I just lost it. Sorry, I just lost you. Let me see if I can get back. My goodness. Where did it all go? I am like just swimming in comments right now. Sorry about that. DIM helped me with perimenopause instantly. DIM is great. DIM helps to detox your estrogen out of your liver. It's pretty amazing. So I love that. Shelly has not had a period since 7 months. That, if you're kind of in perimenopause or if your periods have stopped, you want to figure out why. My autoimmune condition has proved since I became pregnant. Yeah, Raven, that's data. You want to go, okay, how do I keep my hormones, more in the optimal range, especially after you get pregnant, if you breastfeed, whatever. Could you get on some hormone support in sort of perimenopause? It might be really helpful for you. Okay. Lots and lots of questions. So I'm so happy that you guys popped on. Erica says, no gallbladder, had a baby. Now I have Graves. I haven't started medication yet. Is this reversible? You want to take the medication to calm your thyroid down. And then we want to figure out what your food triggers are. And then we want to get you on vitamin D. Now, I'll talk about real quick, and then I need to pop because I need to go to dinner. But when you have no gallbladder, now the fat-soluble vitamins, remember, are A, D, E, and K. If you have no gallbladder, you're going to have a hard time digesting and processing these fat vitamins, right? So you want to think about, if you don't have a gallbladder, I would think about getting on a supplement that has bile salts and lipase in it. My favorite one is by Pure Encapsulations. It's called Digestion GB. And you take that with your fatty meal, if you have like avocado or olive oil or whatever, and you take your fat-soluble vitamins with it, A, D, E, and K. You're probably deficient in A, D, E, and K since you have no gallbladder. So that would be helpful in getting your D up, so it helps to modulate your immune system. That would be the first place I would start. Okay. My friend who's treating a lot of issues with GLP-1s, including pancreatitis. I know this is the thing about the GLP-1s, right? Slows the motility in the intestines, can create pancreatitis, but also can have an anti-inflammatory component, can create weight loss, does make us lose muscle mass. I mean, it's like a mixed bag, right? Those GLP-1s are complicated. So yeah. And then Ashley says EVV cause small fiber neuropathy, and yes, other autoimmune issues. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. A supplement I want you to think about, Ashley, I want you to think about a supplement called PEA. I'm trying to remember like exactly what it stands for. It's for pain. It's not a pea protein. But you can take this supplement and it helps for nerve pain. It helps with neuropathies. And it's called palmitoethylenoamide, whatever, PEA supplement. And it's a naturally occurring like fatty acid compound, and it calms mast cells. It reduces neuroinflammation. It modulates pain. So it helps you to calm pain signals, which is kind of magic, really. And it supports like all the inflammation. So it's pretty magical. So a PEA supplement that you could take orally, you could also get a cream and put it on areas that you're having neuropathy. It's been really helpful for my patients. So try it, see if that helps. If you want a link, let me know. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions, then I got to pop out to dinner because otherwise my husband's going to kill me. I'm like, I'm just going to hop on a quick live. And he's like, yeah, right. You're going to be on for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, I know. That's what happens because I just get into all your questions. Okay, the Pure Encapsulations one is called Digestion GB. If you want a link, let me know. Send me a DM in TikTok. Just give me your name and your email, and I can just send you a link, and you can just order it directly. Really, really good supplement. I had early stage hormone positive breast cancer 3 years ago and on tamoxifen. Can I take hormones? Probably not. So that's going to be one of those where, I mean, you'd have to talk to your doctor. But if it was estrogen positive and it wasn't progesterone positive, you could take progesterone. But if it was both, you want to know, like, if it was both or if it's one, they probably won't put you on hormones. But there's some other solutions that you could take when you get into menopause that can help you. So just see what your doctor says, because there's going to be some restrictions there for sure. Does it help with ALS? ALS is, whoa, that's a tricky one, my friend. Oof, I've had a few patients have ALS. It's just such a nightmare. I usually put people on a ketogenic diet. I get them off of gluten and dairy, put them on high levels of vitamin D, put them on high levels of glutathione, and we just hope, right? Because it's kind of a nightmare. I'm going to answer one more question by Nell. I have an ANA pattern of mitotic intracellular bridge. So, okay, no other markers. Mitotic cellular bridge. I can't like type and talk at the same time, apparently. Let's look at what that is by itself, because I don't know. It's really not that common. These are all like tells you about things like where it's attacking within the cell, like the cell nucleus within the cell. So it's uncommon. It's not very disease specific. This is why this is probably not popping up in my head. It could be undifferentiated connective tissue disease, which means it's like the joints are painful and can get swollen. It can be on the systemic sclerosis spectrum. It could be post-infectious immune activation. So you could be like, you get COVID and all of a sudden it pops up. And then later it might go away. It could be drug-induced immune activation. This is a little less common. It could be just if you get inflamed, it can pop up. It can just say my immune system's like dysregulated. So that's a thing too. So lots and lots of things that could be. It's not very specific. So you want to probably get more testing. I'd probably do an ENA test, do an autoimmune cascade, an ANA cascade. If nothing is coming up, I want you to just think about, okay, what's happening with my immune system? Get my blood sugar balanced. I want to get on vitamin D. I want to get on some glutathione. What if I just got off of gluten and dairy? Would that make me feel better? Just all the things that are going on. Make sure your inflammation markers are low. So all these things, I want to make sure that your body is just working better. Okay. So lots of things to consider here. You guys are awesome. I'm super stoked that you guys popped on. I am popping on. I'm trying to pop on every single night. Having a hard time on Wednesdays because I work late, but I'm trying to pop on every night just for answering all your questions. So if I didn't get to your question, send me a DM. I'm happy to answer. I don't always get into all the comments on my videos at TikTok because there's just so many comments and there's a lot going on there, and I would just spend all day and my eyeballs would go crazy. But I do think that that I can at least direct you toward, like, specific things you should do. And if you have autoimmunity, and by the way, PS says what helps rosacea? Rosacea is autoimmune. All the same things. Get off of gluten and dairy, get on vitamin D, get on glutathione. Let's get your blood sugar handled. Let's get you sleeping. This is why I have like a whole autoimmune program. If you want support, pop on my link tree. Just touch the link tree right in my bio and it'll bring you right to the autoimmune shift. Just pop on and just join us on Friday, because we meet on Fridays at 11 a.m. There's an app. You can jump on the app. There's resources, there's videos, there's a thread, like a Facebook thread where we like make comments and this is what's working for me. This is what isn't. Hey, I need help with this. I'm having a flare up. There's just a really supportive, nice group that's being developed there. You would be a founding member. I only have 6 people in my group right now. My Tuesday group is full. My Friday group has spaces. So I'd love to have you join if you want some support with autoimmunity. I'm happy to help. Otherwise, I'll be here tomorrow evening to catch all you guys, and I'll see you guys so soon. See you soon.